G'day guys and welcome back to Jans_gaming for another Dokkan battle video. So today's video, as you can see, is a team building guide for the new AGL Ginyu. Trying a bit of a different format here. Just feel like this might be a little bit more structured and a bit easier to follow rather than doing it in the game using my box. So let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are of the new structure for the video. So let's jump right on into it. Firstly, we will be 90% of this will be looking at his team in terms of the Ginyu Force. That's where he operates at his best, and which is sort of a bit of a hindrance as to the summoning on his banner. So firstly, we look at his teams: Planet Namek Saga, Ginyu Force, Dragon Ball Seekers, Terrifying Conquerors, Special Post, Space Traveling Warriors, Corroded Body and Mind, and then that's the link set there. Pretty average. If you're not running him in a Ginyu Force team, but fortunately using a Ginyu Force team, those links do become quite powerful. So the one unit that does share 7 links with him is once he does transform or exchange into the Goku Ginyu. So yeah, just the one option there. Being the leader, you can run 2 of them together. So run 1 transform, 1 untransformed, but as I'll discuss later in the team build, I probably wouldn't recommend that. 3 units that do share 5 links with this AGL Ginyu. Also note that, yeah, as 7 links are shared, that they don't change their link set once exchanged. So we've got the 2 banner units that will come with his banner, Raccoon and Guldo, and then also the Jace and Berta. Now both are really good partners, sharing 5 links, as well as I'll discuss later, have a number of different abilities that make them both top tier banner units. So definitely can't go wrong by using them on rotation. And then the third option that does share 5 links is the LR Tech Ginyu Force. Now, unfortunately, he didn't get his EZA, so he's pretty outdated, not really runnable unless you're using him in a showcase settings, but still another unit to list that does share 5 links. With the 4 links, we do have physical LR Ginyu Force, who does get his EZA with this celebration as well. His EZA comes from purchasing the medals with the battlefield memory. So it is really expensive. I think it ends up being over 600,000 currency, which is quite a lot. We do get the new battlefield with it, but yeah, I understand that a lot of people may not be able to afford this at that point. But on rotation with Ginyu, who's definitely up there as one of the best partners to run with him. So that pretty much brings us to the ideal team build, in my opinion. So obviously, as you can see, we've got rotation 1 and 2. We've got the Ginyu in both of those. I would separate them. They're, as you can see, I've listed down below, they're perfect slot 1 units with their defensive stacking. They do good damage. They get the super effective against all type. And then they also support the rotation as well. In one rotation, if you do have them, I'd run the physical Ginyu Force. So again, as we discussed, 4 links being shared. They get that 1 turn defensive raise, and then they support rotation. They do orb change as well. Not that that's the most amazing thing that they could do, because this team is predominantly TURs, but what that will allow is hopefully that you can get quite a lot of healing off with Ginyu. It's probably a bit of an underrated ability when you think of Ginyu. Yeah, being a defensive stacker can heal quite a lot. So again, rotation 2, you would love to have AGL Ginyu. And then in the second slot, Raccoon and Guldo, they are STR, I think I forgot to mention earlier. So again, they get that 1 turn defensive raise. They can guard, they can seal, they can stun. They do build up attack and defense. They're a crazy banner unit. They're just one of those units that do quite literally everything. So having them in slot 2 next to Ginyu is definitely a great idea. With those 5th and 6th slots, you can chop and change, but personally, I think the idea of running Jace and Berta, they get that 1 turn defensive raise. They can fire off multiple supers, which means they get that multiple 1 turn raise. They can dodge, and they also support the rotation. So by running them in the 3rd slot, I don't think that you can go wrong. They're a great banner unit. So, and then And the sixth option would be to run the Jace. He does get that one turn defensive raise, he supports, and what makes him so powerful is that he does get that scouter ability, and that does help you to plan your rotation a little bit better or help you with your item use. We all know that it's not really normal attacks that usually kill you on this difficult content. It's when you cop a big super. There's no real dwindling down. It's just gone in one go. That brings me to the last three, which are the extra options if you don't have some of those units. So you've got the Int Ginyu, gets that one turn defensive raise on his super. He seals supers against two or more enemies. He does get that 50% damage reduction. Against one enemy, he does get the extra 100% defense or attack and defense. And he also disables enemy guards, so he can do some pretty solid damage. You've got the AGL Berta, so he's a defensive stacker, so he can always find a bit of use in those longer form events. He can dodge in slot 1, but it is after attacking, which sort of defeats the purpose of having that ability, because unless you've had a chance to really stack him up early on in the event, you're not going to be wanting to put him in slot 1. And then he has a medium chance to additional super in slot 2 or 3. So if you're running him as a floater, you could certainly get off the 3 stacks of him in one rotation. And that could certainly help shore him up defensively earlier on in the event. But yeah, definitely focused on those longer form events with him. And then you've got Raccoon, who has a high chance of guard. He only needs the 4 attacks received, to max out his passive. So he builds up pretty quickly and can put up some pretty solid attack and defensive numbers, especially when you're putting him alongside some support. So that there is some extra options outside of the 200% leader skill. So as you can see here, I've listed 4 potential rotations that you may want to run outside of the Ginyu Force team that all fit on the 200% leader skill. You've got the Bojacks together, and we all know how well they link up together. Sort of becoming a little bit outdated now, but still definitely very runnable. You've got Full Power Freezer and the third form Freezer. Now we all know how good final form Full Power Freezer is. Getting off that 18 key allows him to stack, and because of his link set and the support that Int third form Freezer give, he is an extremely powerful option on this team. Third rotation is the STR Turtles alongside the AGL Turtles. Now, we don't have the AGL Turtles as easy A just yet, but when that does drop, this does become quite a powerful rotation. Only issue is that neither of these guys are particularly good in slot 1, but still really solid option. And then the fourth is the physical Easy A Cooler alongside the STR Cooler. Again, not a great selection of slot 1 units between those two, but both of these units, when especially coming up against Pure Saiyans or Super Saiyans, Hybrid Saiyans with the STR Cooler, can put up a lot of offensive power. So if you're utilizing items, you can definitely still take out some of the more difficult content there. So that's the team building guide, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to keep up with the content, and hopefully I'll catch you all on the next video.